Hello and welcome to Teletraan Tapes, a monthly look at the latest issue of Skybound's Transformers series, as well as other happenings in the Energon universe. I'm your host, Carl from Carl's Collection, and along with me this month are my friends Delta Tryon and Swizz Prime. Unfortunately, our friend Moonbase 3 is feeling a little under the weather this week, so we're going to have to catch up with his thoughts next month on issue 26. So feel better, buddy. All right, gentlemen, the time has arrived. The new creative team of Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora are here. So yeah, this is an exciting issue. I'm looking forward to talking about it. But before we jump into spoiling the entire issue, what are your initial thoughts as we sit here in this new era of Transformers Skybound?
Swizz, I got to hear it from you first.
I like it. Still no Star Saber though, so you can only do so much, you know. No, I like it. I actually like it a lot. We're going in a good direction. I feel like we're in good hands.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not the step down that I think a lot of people were fearing. For me, there's definitely some aspects of it that I wouldn't say I'm not a fan of. Just a few things that I'm a little disappointed in, but nothing that would stop me from reading this series still as a monthly, or even really continue to cover it on my own channel. So I'm excited to see what we get in the future, but I think there's some areas it can grow.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's where I'm at with this one. It's I enjoy this comic. It's a great transition into a new creative team. But with that comes we're just so used to having a singular voice from Daniel Warren Johnson in the writing, and then largely the Jorge Corona art. So we're used to a certain way that this comic has been presented to us. And this issue, it gives us you can just tell that there's a new creative team, new voices that are on the property. Not bad, just different. And with that comes I think a period of adjustment. I mean, I've said it before with issues with the previous issues where I need to sit with things a little longer, and that's on a creative team that we have come to know and know what to expect. So here is a new team. It might take a little bit longer for me to kind of wrap my head around what the comic is. So but overall, I'm still on board. Can't wait for next month. And as we'll get into it, this sets up a lot of story threads, and I think that's a signature Robert Kirkman trait to kind of plant a lot of seeds. So I like this. So all right, so let's jump into the story, and like I said, we're gonna go scene by scene, and we'll talk about events. So if you haven't read it yet, stop listening to us and go read this comic. So So anyway, let's jump in here. So the opening scene is essentially, I like what they're doing with the transition of creative teams. I like how they have the somewhat of a passing the baton moment where Jorge Corona is back on the art duties for the opening scene of the issue, and it picks up directly from it. Essentially, is like an epilogue to issue 24. And we get Megatron back at the Nemesis. All the Decepticons have gathered, and Megatron is not happy. He takes his frustrations out on Rumble. We see him just kind of berating everyone. There's a double page splash where it's just he goes one by one, and it's like the class in front of the teacher, and he just rips apart every single one of them. Even Laserbeak, who he has been very fond of, he's like, I appreciate you, but I still expected more. It's like, ooh, rough. But yeah, they all get a dressing down, and you see Starscream is there. You see they've brought him back to the Nemesis as well. And one thing it kind of clears up is the question was last month in the issue 24 was who was responsible for Starscream's firing of the gun. And Megatron does seem to confirm here that it was Starscream who had that moment of transitioning to Ulstar, and then he fired Megatron's gun. So anyway, Megatron takes out his frustrations on the Starscream body that's just laying there, and then they toss him into a heap, and we get to see some other bodies of Decepticons that have fallen so far in the series. So there's a big pile of bodies. So it's a nice plot thread to say, hey, they're accounted for, so they're not completely out of
They're
the
still
story.
here.
They're there, yeah. So yeah, it sets up. Who knows what it sets up? But before we talk about get your thoughts, to close out this scene, there's a kind of a key thing that we see. So through the scene, we see Starscream. His eyes are blue, which is signifies his more innocent Ulstar nature. And then as Megatron is rallying the Decepticons and they're chanting "All Hail Megatron," you see a panel of his Starscream's eye turns to red. So signifying that Starscream is not out of it. So guys, what do you think of the way that this issue opened up? And were there any things that you noticed, any differences, since this is our first glimpse at Megatron and the Decepticons and under Kirkman's writing? Is there anything that jumped out at you guys in this opening scene?
Lots of teeth.
Yep.
Lots of ugly teeth, and I love it. Love how long and just gnarly their teeth are. And especially when Megatron's screaming, it's almost like there's a like a kitchen sink disposal in his mouth almost. Looks like there's just gears rotating. But no, your question is, did I notice anything different?
Yeah, just being that, because I think a lot of times we don't think about the writer's voice enough in comics, and I just am curious if you've noticed anything different about it. That's all, the style yet, or maybe we could talk about maybe once we get more into the
Yeah.
issue itself. But
Yeah, I think the voice of the writer specifically, I feel like is maybe, at least for me, was a little bit more noticeable later. But I will say, and I don't think this is an issue for these scenes. It's a little more wordy. That's something I've said about this. Not that that's a bad thing. I think Daniel Warren Johnson has a tendency to be very, very economic when it comes to what the characters are saying on a page. And I feel like maybe Kirkman, and I'm not as familiar with Kirkman's other work as many other people on the internet are. Kirkman is a little more. He wants to kind of elevate these characters by having him say more, which again I think here works great, especially that scene with Megatron scolding all of his children. I loved every bit of it. I think when I first looked at it, I thought, "Whoa, there's a lot of letters on here. I don't know how to read." But each one of them works perfectly, and the artwork again works great. My two favorite being, well, really, my favorite being poor Vortex just scratching his arm and looking at his feet while he's being scolded, like a child would do, just kind of looking away. And one of the Constructicons just scratching his head, like, "Hey, he's talking to me." But that's what I found with it.
yes, was in what are your thoughts on this opening scene that we've?
I pretty much have the same opinion as Delta, and I really love the speech of peace through tyranny.
Hmm.
Like, I mean, we'll see it more in a little bit, but I mean, you can tell that Kirkman is very much so a Generation 1 fan, and I think we see that not only through this dialogue, and I don't think the dialogue has changed this character of Megatron like at all. I think this is very spot on to what Warren Johnson was building for Megatron, but it's just expanded a little bit more. I think the Peace or Tyranny speech was probably one of my favorite moments in this issue. So
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, that's why. So the reason I ask is that I actually, and it's a good thing that you pointed out Kirkman is obviously a fan of G1. So anybody who has said in the past that this comic is too G1, it's been nice knowing you. I'm sure there's other comics out there for you that you're really going to enjoy, because this one might not be for you, because this to me feels like right off the bat. And that's why I noticed with this Megatron, it feels like the cartoon Megatron. I mean, it really feels like, not necessarily an episode of the show, but tonally, I feel like this is the closest we've gotten to an actual episode of the cartoon yet. Because the things that he says when he asks them, do you guys know what's our mission? What are we doing here? What's our goal? And he's like, I'm waiting. And then they're like, domination, conquest, oppression. And he's like, no, it's peace. And,
All
and
idiots.
yeah, and it's like, but how we're gonna do that is we're gonna do it through domination, oppression, and conquest.
We're gonna kill everybody.
Right, but it felt like he's like, no, you're totally wrong. What we're gonna do is this, and then we're gonna do it. We're gonna do the things that you
We're
just
doing
said.
it
but
my
it's-
way.
exactly. It's like presented as if it's like his idea. Like this is
Yep.
what we're gonna do. Like no, you guys are idiots. This is what we're doing. So it felt a little more comical in nature. Still a very a very strong speech, a very impassioned speech from Megatron. It just had elements of a little I don't want to say softer. It just there's a little more humor behind those
A little
words.
cheesy.
And I what's that?
Maybe a little cheesy.
Nah, I would say cheesy. I just it just in to follow up on your point about Kirkman does write more. He puts more word on the paper than Daniel Warren Johnson, and I do think that there it's a different approach because Daniel Warren Johnson, like you said, is kind of calculated in what is on the page, and sometimes it's very light, but then you get those really impactful statements or impactful bits of dialogue, and
Mhm.
and Kirkman is a storyteller in the sense where he just is getting all of his ideas out there. And I want to say he I don't want to say he's too wordy, but he just writes more than someone like Daniel Warren
Mhm.
Johnson. It's just two differing styles. So that's why it just right off the bat I was like, okay, it's gonna take a little bit of adjustment here. I love the Megatron dressing down all of the Decepticons, but it did feel like all the characterizations that he kind of goes through and singles out certain traits in each of them. It feels like I need to take notes because I'm like, well, I feel like we haven't gotten a lot of characteristic traits on that's. I mean, that's one thing you can say about Daniel Warren Johnson is that the characters were all here, but a lot of them kind of get lost in the shuffle as far as individual traits.
Mhm.
And I feel like that this is Kirkman trying to establish like, okay, we're going to try to have different personalities for each of these characters by doing it this way. He presents some traits for each of them to give them a little bit of a backstory, and maybe we'll see that develop over time. But like just in that moment, I was like, oh wait, who's it try to identify what those traits are for each of the characters. It was a little much, but I'm glad it's here because I feel like we're gonna come back to this spread often, and then to kind of get those to reference the character development that will likely, hopefully, see. So
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that in agreement with you, there's a lot here that Kirkman is doing to expand and flesh out Megatron. We know some of Megatron's backstory, and I think we've all kind of seen the type of character, the type of leader he is. But then having this whole speech just even more so solidifies that he's not just, I mean, in some ways he is, but he's not just your typical, I'm a bad guy, I want to kill everybody. He's not
Yeah.
really that. He truly is working towards a singular goal of having peace. He's just going about it in a very specific way. And I think
yeah,
Kirkman's done a great job taking what Johnson had kind of set up, but like you said, not fully fleshed out, probably because he was busy, he's busy doing other things in the story.
yeah.
Kirkman's done a good job of taking that and going, hey, I'm gonna dig my fingers deeper into the dirt and show off more of this, which I think he did a great job at.
So, also it kind of kicks off much like the second arc did with the transition of Starscream to Soundwave leadership. You get that them chanting
Mhm.
Soundwave. You get that same thing here with all hail Megatron. It's a good. I just like those kind of similar scenes. So, all right.
Such a great
So
callback, and sorry to interrupt you. I would even
yeah, no,
say
you're good.
this is probably me, pulling my own meaning out of from the art. Who knows if this was the intention, but the Soundwave piece that kind of matches to this one, we actually get to see Soundwave's face while the camera is kind of behind the backs of the Decepticons who were chanting him on. And at least for me, that just always kind of put more of a burden, a burdenous look on Soundwave. Like, oh man, all eyes are on him now. Like, he's got to lead. He's got to do this right. But with Megatron, again, at least for me, the way I see this is it's his back. This is no big deal to him. He knows who he is. Like, this is not like oh, all eyes are on Soundwave. He better do a good job. This is Megatron being like, yeah, I know who I am. Yeah, these are my guys.
He straight up says, he's like, look at me when I'm talking to you. Like, you know, he flat out says it. Like,
you don't need to see
look at me when
expression.
I address you. Right.
Yeah, because you know, even though Soundwave doesn't really have too many expressions, but I think in the artwork you can still see back from whichever issue that was. At least I kind of read it as Soundwave, taking the reins, but he's probably also thinking like, oh man, this is a lot of responsibility to take on. All these idiots are looking up to me now. And with Megatron, he's like, yeah, I got this, man. I do this every day.
Yeah, he's like, this is nothing. So, yeah. And I now the next thing we get, I loved. I hope it's not a regular thing, but I don't think it is. It's the transition from, you get that like the nod to the cartoon with like the Autobot and Decepticon symbol.
They're
like,
just trying to pad out the pages, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, it is cool.
But I really like it. But and it makes sense here because you literally, I mean, we are turning the page on, you know, what was in the art style to what would be, if we didn't have this break, it would be even more jarring. If it was just like, you know, page and then turn it, it's you know, a new art style. But I like how they kind of gave that you know, that nod to the cartoon and you know, the scene change, and then it goes to you know, Dan Mora's artwork, and these are the preview pages that we've seen for a couple months now. They are altered because they did some not some trickery, but some not trying to spoil anything. This first page, when we first saw it as a preview image, Optimus had, you know, his repaired arm, so that's why we're all kind of confused. Like, wait a minute, what is that? Like, is it like a time jump? Like, what's going on? Yeah.
But yeah, so 5 years later,
they ruined it. They don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so it's obviously, you see that Optimus has the arm that is got the steel girder attached to his shoulder, which I still love. That it's a good feature. But yeah, so we see the Autobots doing what the Autobots are known to do. They are helping the humans clean up the wreckage of Chicago. So another continuation from what was in issue 24. And the first moments we see of Dan Mora's Optimus Prime, I really enjoy. I like that where the first thing you see him do is immediately, you know, speak to a little girl who, you know, comes up, and he's presented in this way, standing tall, powerful, and then she walks up to him, and then he just kind of like crouches down to her, and you know, is very tries to diffuse any tension that there is there. He's like, you know, he knows how to. What was it, Swizz? What you said in your video? It was strong enough to be
gentle.
Yeah, I love that line. That was great. I was like, that's perfect. So that's exactly what this is here. He's strong enough to be gentle, and yeah, I love seeing that. I love seeing the heart of the character. That's, you know, that's carrying through from what we've seen before. But yeah, we have the other Autobots, you know, Ultra Magnus, RC. We've got Jazz, who's actually probably has more lines than he's had in the entire series thus far. Poor Jazz. Yeah. But yeah, then Beachcomber's there, and they're going through some wreckage. There's some type of signal that they discover, and it's Soundwave, who was left behind and was he tossed off the building by Shredhead last issue. But yeah, so I love this. They got to jump into the Autobots. Are, you know, Optimus Prime says, hey, you know, get these humans to safety. Ultra Magnus transforms and you know, gets some ambulances out of there. And there's you know, we get our first bit of Dan Mora combat in the issue. And you know, if you are a fan of the wrestling moves, then they are still here.
Spine breaker.
Yeah, we get the the spine buster that he
Oh, it's Buster. I'm a
yeah,
fake
well,
fan.
it's okay. You're good. Yeah, I was like, I don't. It's like, do I correct him? Do I not correct him? I
You
was like, ah,
should,
well, I mean,
yeah.
somebody in the comments would anyway.
With
So I was like,
Mrs. Tryon being
yeah,
the
yeah.
wrestling nerd she is, she's out of town, so she's not here to correct me. You have to.
Yell from the room, you
Yeah.
moron.
Yeah.
But hey, you almost got it, and that's great. Um, but yeah, one thing I don't know if you guys noticed this, and I'm not like nitpicking. It's just I was like looking at it, and if you have the issue in front of you, when Optimus grabs Soundwave, there's a wheel on the back of. I don't know if you noticed that. There's a wheel in the back of Soundwave's.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like, wait, is that Beachcomber? What's he doing? And I was like, wait, that's not Beachcomber. That's not. So anyway, I'm gonna chalk it up to there's a lot of robots with a lot of different moving parts. So I'm not nitpicking. I saw that and I was like, huh, wait a minute, I got a little confused, but then I was okay. But yeah, I love the action. I love Dan Mora's art style here. Kind of keeps it's very clean, but it still has the that really like energetic action that we've come to expect from the series. So there's in that aspect for sure. I mean, the style is definitely different, but in that aspect, it's still there, still lively, still energetic. I'm sure we're gonna be treated to many more wonderful action scenes from Mora. But yeah. So anyway, uh, Soundwave is defeated, and in a moment that uh, Optimus Prime references, "Hey, we're gonna take him back to our base," and you get a good line from Wheeljack, like, well, "What do you mean the giant hole in the mountain where the Ark used to be? Like, what are you talking about?" So it's a good way to kind of reestablish because if um if this is an issue where new readers are kind of jumping on board, there are some just things to kind of allude to what may have happened before and what's going on, and because in some ways it feels like a line that Optimus wouldn't say, but I mean it's not like terrible. It's not like a terrible thing. It's just um they don't have a base. They have a hole in the mountain. So but they uh, Magnus says, "Hey, I'll help him. We'll take Soundwave back. We'll take care of it." And they get interrupted by a person from the military, and it is not stated anywhere in the. Uh, Actually, before we let's take a pause here, and because there's a lot of stuff that happened with the Soundwave stuff. What did you guys think of seeing our first bit of Dan Mora action?
I liked it. I feel like it was a good. I feel like it was a good little pause, from all the words at the beginning. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard for me. I'm kind of like Delta. I don't know how to read, so
You had a headache by this point, and you're like,
yeah,
"Oh,
like
fine.
my
Okay.
brain
All
was
right."
fried, and I saw two robots fighting. I'm like, oh man,
Like,
I'm
"Oh,
back in. I'm
yeah.
back.
You perked right back up. There
I
we go.
can get on board with this.
Yeah. No, I liked it a lot. I think again, it's what I said earlier. Like we are, they're building off of what Warren Johnson and Corona were building. I think the action scenes, at least to me, are just as good as what we've seen before. I kind of wish we got a little bit more, but I mean,
Mhm.
it's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot else a lot of other ground to cover as far as story because that's again,
Yeah.
Kirkman likes to throw a lot out there, and then it's hard to predict where his stories go because he puts so much out there, and some of it's like misleading, some of it's not, but it's just that's just part of his writing. So there's just a lot that's like thrown at us in this issue. So. Yeah, but I agree. I would like to see more of that fight, but it also
Yeah.
kind of reestablishes that Optimus is not to be messed around with. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
But poor Soundwave, like you got like like last issue, he like jumps out and does Shredhead just kind of like steps aside, is like, "Nope, thank you," and just tosses him off the building. And then here, he gets up and then immediately, he gets a couple licks in there. But
Yeah, they exchange blows,
yeah,
but then Optimus wins. But I love Soundwave in this story because he's never afraid to throw down. Like I love that.
yeah.
I love that so much.
What about you, Delta? Any thoughts on this opening fight between Soundwave and Optimus?
I think I probably have more thoughts. I like the fight between Optimus and Soundwave. I don't think I have any different takes than you guys do. There's the section with Optimus and the girl. definitely I have some thoughts about that, as well as, and I think we talked about this a little offline. And I don't want to dive into this too deep if we need to keep things moving. The change of dialogue style for some characters, like
Hmm.
Soundwave now
Yeah,
speaking in
yeah.
a in a I guess a more, man, I
It's
don't know,
it's
a
like
different way.
it's like declarative statements. He
Yes,
just is
yeah.
like,
Which
yeah.
I don't think is
Yeah, he's even more
bad.
robotic.
Yeah, I'm fine with that idea. It's just strange to have that, kind of almost out of nowhere. As well as with Jazz not speaking in puns. Not that he has to, not that he always has to make a musical reference, but that's kind of been, at least for me, that's been what he does. So
Yeah,
to
yeah.
see
Yeah.
him not first to see him speaking, I was like, all right, let's go. And then reading it, I was like, wait a second, is that
Yeah, where's
okay?
the
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. So not things that I saw and was like, oh, I'm out, but things that I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder if there's a specific reason we've transitioned over to doing this a little bit differently. Again, I think the change in art style is the biggest thing that people are gonna pick up on, because
Mm,
it's a change in art style.
yeah.
But there was a couple of undertone things with dialogue that I was like, interesting. We've kind of transitioned to a different take as well. Again, not that I think it's bad. I just was curious. The conversation with Optimus and the girl, I think for me, I have accidentally ruined it for myself, because when we saw these preview pages, there was no dialogue, and I fell in love so much with the idea that there would not be dialogue, because I thought the artwork spoke for itself so amazingly well, that now that there is dialogue, to a degree, I feel like the dialogue will never be good enough for me. But I will say, the one section where Optimus is holding the girl, and he said, I'm just going to read it. He says, "You and I are the same." And I'm like, oh, yeah, I like that. And then he says, "Recognizing that this is the first step to becoming a compassionate being, which all sentient life should strive to be." I read that and I was like, is Optimus, is somebody else saying this? For some reason, to me, that line is just very, I, I don't know, explanatory. And it was just, I read it and I was like, Optimus, you are compassionate. What do you, okay, interesting. Again,
I
not
like what he
something
says
that I read.
after. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, well, all sentient life should strive to, absolutely. But, him telling this little girl that, I'm sitting there thinking, this little kid's like, "Can you put me down, big
It
robot? I
it
gotta go find my mom. Can
I
you put me
have no idea
down?"
what you're saying. Please put me
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
it
So again,
it
not a moment that ruined it for me, but a moment that I was like, "Huh? Oh, okay, interesting. All
it's
right."
more of it comes off, and not totally, but like it's a little preachy in a way that Optimus
Mhm.
hasn't been before. He's
Yeah.
had heart to hearts,
It feels
but
like an internal thought that he just spoke out
right,
to me.
yeah. So, um, yeah, I mean, and again, and that's kind of what I brought it up earlier, because I just that's kind of a running thing for this issue. It's just finding the groove of how to process the new writing style, the new
Mhm.
voice in Robert Kirkman, and and I think there's some things where you just have to um, chalk it up to, okay, this is a different writer. It's the same characters, same, but I don't think we need to look for like a story reason why. Not
Oh,
that you
yeah.
were. I'm just saying, like say Soundwave, because Soundwave was a big, it's taking him back to again how he was in like the G1 cartoon. That's just
Mhm.
how he kind of spoke, uh, and I just feel like that's Robert Kirkman's fandom coming out in that
Yeah.
way. It's him, whereas Daniel Warren Johnson was not presenting him that way. It's just in Kirkman's head when he hears Soundwave, that's how he hears Soundwave, so
Mhm.
that's how he's going to write him. So
Wait. Are you implying that Robert Kirkman is writing fanfic and he's doing a self-insert of
Wait
Soundwave?
a second. Wait, are
Dude,
all comics
I
fanfics?
I
Wait a
can't
second.
read this anymore.
it started
I
already.
Wait a second.
I do agree, and I think one of my favorite Optimus Prime lines is from this issue, and it's him saying, "I refuse to believe anything can truly be bad,
Mm.
only misguided." Like
Yeah,
that was,
Yeah,
that's a great line.
that's
right.
good.
Like that feels just like the Optimus that we know,
Mhm.
and that feels like this Optimus. So, um, Yeah, not that what he said before was bad. It's just I agree. It's like, well, it's just a little different. That's all. And I think that's like it's going to be the running theme of this issue. It's like it's not bad. It's just different. It just takes time to kind of get into the groove of the new creatives involved, and that's just I think that's natural. So. But yeah, I enjoy the action. The Spinebuster page is fantastic. Like I absolutely love and then I love the perspective that you get the following page of Optimus kind of standing over Soundwaves. There's a lot of good camera angles that are chosen here, and you feel the weight of when Optimus grabs Soundwave out of the air, and like you just feel their weight, and that's that's what you want. I've mentioned that before with Jorge Corona's art, and that's one of the things I loved about it is you felt the size, the scale, the weight of these characters, and you do feel it in that moment. So yeah, I mean we're in good hands, and I'm not, if anything comes across as critical, it's not really critical. I'm just, it's adjusting to the new norm. That's all. So,
Hey, Carl, I'm sorry, man, but Transformers are boring. Can we talk about G.I. Joe now?
Yeah, we can. Let's turn the page.
All right. Nobody likes those lame robots.
Yeah. It's General Flag.
What podcast am I in today?
What guys? I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah, which is interesting because this is clearly meant to be General Flag, but he's not. They don't mention him at all, and this I'm gonna jump right into it, and then my not my issue, my critique here. It was jarring to me because Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime are having like a little bit of a conversation where Magnus is saying, "Hey, I'm going to take Soundwave and we'll take him back and we'll secure him, make sure he doesn't get away," and then General Flag interrupts them, and I was like, "Oh, that's Flag," and I was like, "Oh, what's Ultra Magnus going to say?" And dude says nothing. Like he's just then gone from the scene, and I was like, "Wait a minute, is that not General Flag?" Like,
I had thought that Ultra Magnus already drove off.
Maybe that's the case.
Like
just
that he drove off.
Turns around. Wait a minute, I know you.
Squashes Flag.
Yeah, it's like that dude straight up sucks. Don't talk to him.
Oh wait, no, you're right. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong page. You're right. He is Ultra Magnus is literally standing right there next to him. I was looking at an earlier page. Yeah.
Well, there's like one panel where like he's there, and then you hear there's like one more panel where normally if it's like the same page, to me that's the same. It's him interrupting that conversation.
Absolutely.
So it's possible that Magnus left in that time, but still, you'd think he would have seen them
like that,
right? Yeah. So just because that just feels like I don't know. I mean, we can talk about that a little bit later.
Unless this is General Flag's long lost cousin, General Lag.
General,
my favorite, General Lag.
Yeah, he's a
just
little
like
glitchy.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, but they didn't say his name, but he's clearly it's the same look, the glasses, the hat, I'm like, well, that's
I was
General
so
Flag.
scared. I was like, dude, this has to be General Flag, right? Like I kept rereading. I'm like, he does he say who he is? And I'm like, I'm just gonna say, all right, I think this is General Flag.
TF Wiki has said it is, so they rule.
Suez is like, please don't roast me. I'm so sorry. I'm trying. Yeah. But the key takeaway of the scene is that Flag says, "Hey, you're obviously one of the good guys. You're here cleaning up." And Optimus talks a little bit about the Decepticons and like what they're doing, and again, Flag seems like didn't he have a? I don't know. This is like I'm totally in the weeds here, and I know that, and I apologize, but didn't like Carly tell him about like the good guys and the bad guys, like the Autobots and Decepticons? Maybe she didn't like name drop them. But when she was back in the base, she described that there were good and there were bad versions of these robots, and I was like, is he playing coy here? Maybe he is.
I think he's playing coy.
Yeah. So,
what I
but
felt.
anyway, I totally that this scene, much like it has done in talking about the summary, it stopped me in my tracks because I was like, wait, what's going on here? Like, because it just felt like my boy Magnus, he like left, and I'm like, that left me shook. I was like, wait a minute, that seems like a big thing. Like, it seems like Magnus would have something to say. But anyway, all good. Maybe it'll be addressed later. Whatever. But yeah, so Flag is basically saying like, hey, we want to help you out, and and you get a look on Prime's face like, I'm listening. So then it cuts away, and we cut to the Ark, or the hole in the mountain that previously housed the Ark. Yeah, but it actually says the location, like the Ark. I was like, no, the Ark is not there. That's not really the Ark. But anyway, they Magnus and Jazz have Soundwave there, and they say that Wheeljack is exploring the cave, and there's clearly another story tease here where Wheeljack finds the fossil of the T-Rex, which clearly people are like, hey, do you think that's a nod to? Yes it is. That is a nod to
I wonder what that is.
That is not a mistake. That is clearly so they're alluding to the fact that Wheeljack, this could be where he gets his idea for create some robots looking like these guys. So which is great. That's a great, whenever that happens, I'm here for it. But I feel like this issue is like planting the seed for like how many years of storytelling, because there's lots here to that they could go in any direction, any one of these plot threads. So but as Wheeljack is looking at the T-Rex bones, there's a rumble. I think it's gonna be a cave in, and then all of a sudden the Ark just reappears, and he's standing in the Ark, and very confused as to what just happened. And we get Optimus, but Ultra Magnus and Jazz come in with Soundwave. I'm like, all right, well, good, we can put him in the brig now. But you get a tease of I love the look on Thundercracker's face here, where he's kind of like lurking in the shadows, like just that grin on his face. And yeah, this is really cool. So before we transition to the next scene, do you guys have any thoughts on this quick 2-page the Ark returning?
I love the way Ultra Magnus is just dragging Soundwave along. It's kind of funny. They're just walking in and just casually talking about the Ark coming back, and poor Soundwave's just getting dragged along. Yeah. But no, dinosaurs. I'm excited. I saw that and I was like,
robot dinosaurs.
Who? I don't think they've thought of that yet.
That'll never work.
Dinosaur.
One of us should have thought of it.
Autobots.
Weird.
Dinoformers. We'll call them Dinoformers.
Dinoformers. There it is. That's the Dinoformers are coming, folks.
Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go.
You're so brilliant.
Well, I don't know what that. But all cool stuff here. I will admit that when I first read it, and this is not unique to this comic, it's happened with Transformers, happened in many other comics, is in reading those pages between Wheeljack jumping and the Ark coming back, I was a little confused. I was like, wait, did I miss a page? And then I went back and realized, oh, it teleported back kind of underneath his feet. It caught me off guard for a moment, because I thought, oh, I didn't see any teleportation.
Did you want to be squished?
Rays, or anything. I was just confused.
That was like it had me like nerdy thinking like science. Like, well, how? Wait, would it if it just teleported back? Would it just like be on top of him, or would it like? I was like, I mean, again, it's like, get out of the weeds.
They're talking robots, so.
Right?
Yes, yeah. But it did confuse me at first. I was just like, wait, what? And then, obviously, if I wasn't so dumb and I just kept reading, they too were like, wait, what just happened?
Right.
I was like, they're confused too. Got it.
Okay, good.
I don't know how I feel about that dialogue, to be honest. Like, hopefully it gets explained more next issue. But yeah, I don't like how I guess everything seems back to normal, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty convenient, guys. Yeah.
Wow.
That's exactly
Soundwave's freaking out over there.
Like, you guys are a bunch of idiots. Like, this is huge. Like, what just happened? But yeah, like it's too like in and again, it's not poking fun at Robert Kirkman. It's just they're so wordy like in other areas, and then this it just comes back like, oh well, that's cool.
Like, Thundercracker's like terrified, and everyone's like, I guess everything's back to normal, guys. All right. Let's put some
it just is like very convenient. Like like what was their plan to They just come back to the hole in the wall to secure Soundwave with like what? Like what were they gonna
Put up like a rock for like.
right? And then they're like, oh, while we're here, and then the arc just comes back like, oh, that's solves our problem.
Also, I just have to point out, and I'm not here to say I could write this any better. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
way.
Right,
But
right.
just looking at the dialogue, when I think of it as okay, if you just put the dialogue itself on a piece of paper with no art, and you have Jazz say, "Yeah, that's a real shocker," and then the line after that is Wheeljack saying, "Yeah, that's a real head scratcher," I'd be like, maybe we could change those up a little bit. Maybe we could like find some other words because I feel like somebody's copying somebody's homework here.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the end of the world, but every time I looked at it, I was
yeah.
like, "Are you okay? Am I going crazy here?"
It's like
Ultra
they
Magnus
don't
doesn't
wanna-
even quite. He's just like and he's just dragging Soundwave.
He's
like,
still
okay,
having a
whatever.
PTSD moment.
Yeah.
He's like, General Flag is back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
should I have told Prime that guy is a kind of a jerk? This is fine.
But great art. I love it.
Right,
It's just
yeah.
some of the dialogue every now and then I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah,
interesting.
you guys, we're so going to be like, they hate the new, direction of the book.
9
I'm
out of
like,
10.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It sucks. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, no, it's not the case. It's just there are some things here that I would be like, well, I kind of would have expected a little bit more out of that situation because it does feel like they're both like, especially like Jazz and Wheeljack, they're like looking at each other like they don't want to be like looking like the one who's freaked out by what just happened. They're like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
That whole conversation seems a bit of a waste. Hey, it's a shocker. The arc's back.
Yeah.
It's a head scratcher. Everything's back. It's like, yeah, we know.
The art told us
We
that.
see it. Yeah, you've
Yeah.
told us that
Yeah.
now twice. So
Yeah.
let's move forward.
Agreed. Yeah. So, but anyway, speaking of moving forward, we shall do that. We
Military
get to
time.
undisclosed location. We have a Flag is choppering in Optimus Prime, and he kind of talks about like, hey, while you're transforming back, you don't plan on like stepping on anybody, do you? Like, so we'll call back to the deer. Like, no, I'm well aware of the planet I'm on now. So Prime's like, I got this. I'm not going to step on anybody. Don't worry. But yeah, this is you get the idea that Flag is like talking to him, saying, hey, we understand that you guys don't seem like you are well prepared for not many resources at your disposal. And Prime's like, yeah, you could say that. But yeah, you get the Flags like talking about the what basically like reassuring him as to why they would want to help them, because like, look, we're well equipped to take care of a lot of things, a lot of threats, but giant robots, that's we've shown in the past when they were like those, what was that, what issue was that where like the military is like, yeah, we're gonna go get him, and then they just like
Slaughtered.
get annihilated. Yeah. So clearly they are not well equipped to take on these robots. So he's basically saying like, like normally we wouldn't need help, but here we do, and yeah, we want to help us in this scenario. So in a very Transformers Bayverse Section 7 moment, they go inside, and there's this elevator that takes them down to the secrets of what Flag's like, hey, I'm gonna show you something here. So they takes him down, and we get our first of a new couple characters in Mirage and Bulkhead, who are in the possession of Flag's military. And I question like what, like, is this a separate part of I mean they talk about it, but like there's like the military up top, and then he takes them down to, it's not Section 7, it's they call it, what do they call it, Shadow
Watch.
Yeah. So is that, do you guys know, is that something that's been in the property before, or was like an IDW or anything like that, or is this a new name for I could have looked that up, I didn't, but and maybe I should have.
I don't recall it being an IDW. I don't think the name itself is anything related to Transformers, to my knowledge.
So it's like a new, yeah. Okay, that's cool.
I think Robert Kirkman just picked two cool words. which I would have done too when it comes to military. Be like, that sounds cool. It does.
That's that's you clearly know, like, okay, this is a secret portion of the military that not many people know about. It's deep underground. It's the kind of like the Area 51 level secrets. So that's they've clearly been. They talk about they discovered Bulkhead and Mirage at different times. Was it 1906 and 1984? Yeah, good old nod to 1984. That's nice to see. But yeah, so they've been kind of studying the two Autobots, and yeah, they Prime, takes issue with, like, wait a minute, so you've been, like, dissecting them, which Magnus could have told you that's what they do. But it does make you wonder, like, why wouldn't they have brought Magnus back here? Why was Magnus at a separate location, which is interesting. But because maybe they could have studied him and understood, done the same thing with Prime. But I guess no, spinning my
Seemed
wheels.
like they're
but
about to torture Magnus.
like what and I guess, like, again, this is Flag's, whatever his hidden agenda is. That's he's presenting a different face to Optimus Prime, which again, it's kind of why I was like, but Magnus knows, like, just so yeah, I don't know. But I need to get over that Magnus leaving, because I have a feeling there's the plot is going to be built on this uneasy alliance, because again, Prime is not foolish. He understands, like, they're being offered all this access, and in this scene, in talking about Flag knows that they're not equipped with resources, that they have this stockpile of energon, which is very convenient to have, which is, again, this book is a huge reset. It's a reset of scenarios, situations, and I like it. It's a good jumping off point, because now we can go. It opens a door to many story possibilities, and it's just like, let's see where this goes. But yeah, so there's the panel of where it's all in the eyes. Optimus is like, whoa, like, check it out. There's like a bunch of energon. So
I'm hungry.
Yeah, like this.
He
is
consumes
awesome.
it all.
Yeah. But I also really love that there's like a really tender. He puts his hand on Mirage, and it's like, yeah, I wish we had the energon to do this. And they're like, oh, speaking of, it's right here. So before we get to, I guess that, well, let's before we get to that, let's talk about
Big reveal.
yeah. Before we get to the big reveal on the next page, what do you guys think of this this conversation between Flag and Optimus Prime?
I know I was kind of criticizing the fact that, in my words, things were a bit wordy. I think, again, Carl, you did a good job of explaining it as well. That this is a different style of writing, and more stuff's going on here. I actually really, really like this conversation between Optimus and Flag. I like the fact that Flag is talking so much, and Optimus just gives very simple answers, like, I understand, or, oh, it's a generous offer. Because to me, it feels like Flag is obviously trying way too hard to come off as something he's not. I mean, even the point where he says, if there's one thing the U.S. government prides itself on, is picking the right side. I started laughing. I was like, sure thing, buddy. Yeah, right. And so the fact that he's just almost overdoing it. He's just, this is, look how good we are, look how cool we are. And Optimus is like, okay, yeah, I got you, little man. I actually really like that, because I think it shows it's an easy way for readers who don't know Flag to just immediately go, something's up with this guy. This guy is not it. And Optimus knows something's wrong here, but he's not yet at a point where anything can be done. He's like, all right, I'm just going to bide my time and speak carefully and choose what I say. That way this guy doesn't do something he shouldn't. So I really do actually like the dialogue here. I think it works in favor to show that Optimus is a lot more. Optimus is not aloof to the situation going on here.
I agree with. I can't add any more to what Delta said, because that's pretty much what I picked up right away. Is Optimus knows, there's a catch.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, because it says it's it's a testament to how much can be said without saying much of anything. You
Yep.
understand that Optimus is like, I'm not gonna give away too much of this guy. I don't know who I can trust. And there's a reason why we don't know his name, because Optimus, I'm assuming, doesn't know his name yet. So it's not like he can go back and say, hey, this General Flag told us that we could, and then that would again tip off. I know I'm a broken record, but the whole Ultra Magnus thing. But it's a way for this story, this aspect of this alliance to kind of play out a little longer. Because if we don't know his name, there's plausible deniability of like how or why Optimus Prime would kind of be going along with it as long as he does. We'll see. So, but yeah, he knows what's up. He knows something's up here. And speaking of which, that we get if there wasn't one person that was overdoing it with the kindness, here comes Miles Mayhem. So
with an incredible outfit, can I just say?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. So Swizz, I'm sure you realized instantly that I know your deep dive lore into Hasbro toys of the 80s. And, but yeah, so Miles Mayhem is from the Mask side of things, the Mask property that we were introduced to Matt Tracker, who was in the Energon Special 2025, who was helping out Clutch and Hound. So here we see the flip side to the villainous side of that property is Miles Mayhem. He is the now it's not said here that he's the villainous, because he's very much like,
he's a good guy. No way.
Yeah, he's putting on the charm offensive. He's like, I have a feeling we're gonna get along exceptionally well, Optimus Prime. Like, okay, like these guys are laying it on thick. But yeah, I really like this. I like how they are incorporating Mask in a way that makes a lot of sense. Because the Mask was the property is vehicles that then kind of transform into not like other like sentient robots, but they're like weaponized vehicles. So it would be like the natural
modes.
Yeah, like it's a great way to, if the military had access to Energon, what would they do with it? Like they would just create powerful weapons, and that's what I feel like is going to happen. I'm sure they're going to lean on Wheeljack and lean on other guys to say like, well, how can you help us out here? And yeah, I like that. I like that they're again is another Hasbro property that we are going to kind of fold in naturally. And let's see. So in the comic, or in the show, Mayhem, his organization is called Venom, because everything is snake based in the world of the 80s Hasbro. But Venom is the vicious evil network of mayhem. And
wonderful.
You
think they tested that in the market?
Yeah.
They market tested that before they chose it.
Yeah, right. It's like, now that's too obvious. Let's just go by Venom. Yeah, that's friendly.
It's kind of that whole John Cena scene from Bumblebee all over again, where he's like, they call themselves Decepticons. That's not weird.
Yeah.
Wait a second. This guy's name is Mayhem. Hold on a second.
Like, whoa. Yeah, wait a minute. So yeah, but I like this, and I like that. In the past we've had suspicions that Flag is maybe not Flag. Maybe Flag is Zartan in disguise. So, in a way to potentially bridge the whole world of Cobra, and I like that they're establishing that there would be this other sister organization in Venom that would have its connections to Cobra and the villainous side of the GI Joe world. So yeah, I like that it's not like you needed to know who he is. You kind of get there's this strong presence of this guy, and immediately like you see him, you're like, he's not presented in a way that is super friendly guy. Like he looks villainous, and again, the name's Mayhem, so let's
let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that you kind of get that idea. And Prime is like looking at him again. It's the same thing that we were saying before. He doesn't really say anything. He just is like looking at him like,
they're both kind of squinting their eyes, almost as if they kind of see past the whole facade, and they're like,
exactly.
We both know what's going on here.
But Optimus is like, I really want that Energon, and I could really use my buddies, so we're gonna let this play out, see what happens. So yeah, then we go back to the Ark, which actually is the Ark this time. you see the Soundwave has been imprisoned, and yeah, they're just like it's just funny. It's like the dialogue again is like, "Are we sure that he's not going to get out of here?" Like, have they not? Have they not had a prisoner on the ark
discussion about
before?
this?
Like,
It's like
Yeah.
Scooby Doo dialogue.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's like a little like I was like, I don't know. I'm glad they're talking, but like, I don't know, guys. Like, because Wheeljack is like in the past is like I don't know. He's kind of been spot on with the tech, and I don't know. I just feel like the Wheeljack of old would not be questioning. Like, this is we're good, we're good.
He's
You
like,
know what I
I
mean?
built this thing. Of course it's gonna
Right,
work.
like
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah. So I don't know. It's again nitpicky and probably in the weeds, but whatever. It doesn't ruin the comic. It's just
Yeah.
again, it's the residual of having one voice tell a story and then having a new voice and be like, that's different. But yeah, but again, they do kind of say it again where it's Jazz is like, weird having this old boat suddenly come back, ain't it? Any clue what happened? And he's like, it's like, oh my
Wheeljack standing there
God.
like, you said that 3 times.
For the last time, I don't know. But yeah, but it does point out you get the bit of the story that there's no like travel log. They've no record of telling where the ark was. This is the only like the bit of information that that Wheeljack shares there. So then they go to check on Ultra Magnus, and out jumps Thundercracker, and he is very confused. Very like, where were we? He says the creatures, such horrible monstrosities, I've never seen anything like it. And then you get a scene of Globulus and Cobra La. So you kind of get the idea that they were in Cobra La. Why? Who knows? Again, that's just a story thread that we'll see where it goes, and that's like a broken record. That's what this issue does a lot of. It just kind of plops down new doors that we could potentially go through, and I'm sure we will. Just is a question of when that happens. So, yeah, Thundercracker, like where did we go? Yeah. So, any thoughts on before we go to the last scene of the issue? Any thoughts of this Thundercracker and the Cobra La connection?
Swizz,
Poor
have you
guy.
been blessed with knowledge of Globulus?
Oh God. What? What?
Do you
He's
know
like,
who
don't put me on the
Globulus is?
spot, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I do.
Okay, good. You have like a poster of him up on your wall, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same
Well,
page.
he's
I
so
gotta-
hesitant. He's like, I'm not. Where
We're
are you going?
globuli
I,
stands.
I have PTSD from Globulus because the amount of comments I got saying that's not how you say his name. That's not how you say his name. And like people literally like breaking it apart on how to say it. I'm like, okay, it's Globulus.
I got the same thing
it.
with Oktar. I got the same thing with Oktar when issue
Yeah.
13 came out. They're like, how do you not know how this obscure name is? I'm like, it's a word. I've never in my life had someone come up to me on the streets and go Globulus. And if they did, I probably would lock myself away at my house.
Hey
Like,
man,
what
did you
did
see
you say to me?
Globulus and Oktar in the last issue? Who?
Who? Yeah, if you came to me before any of that stuff was revealed, and hey, next Transformers issue, Globulus is going to show up, I'm going to go, who are you? What are you talking about?
So basically, Swizz, you're saying that as soon as you saw the panel of the Globulus, you started like rocking in your chair, like, oh no, not again.
Okay,
not
like
again.
I'm not joking because I was like, oh boy, I literally I was like, okay, and I was like,
Time to look it up.
Globulus. I'm not kidding. I said Globulus. I was literally
Like-
pronouncing the name over and over. I'm like, I can't mess this up, bro. I don't want to
He's
be
like- he's
corrected
like-
again.
You're like getting a drink out of the fridge, you're like Globulus.
Yeah, I had to make
Good
sure.
exercise for your jaw. Globulus.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, I think that's cool. I think it's I thought it was a little jarring. It seemed a little convenient to have the arc just kind of come back, and then like, oh yeah, there's this Cobra La connection.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it seems okay. That's fine, but it just in I don't know. I
It's
just was
on
kind of
par
like,
for Thundercracker's story being a little like, here's one page, and move
yeah,
on.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I
But-
will
but-
admit that I saw it and I was like, oh, okay.
And the one thing that did surprise me though is because you see in the first panel he's like it's kind of like he's conniving, like not on this page, but back when you first see him, he's like hiding in the shadows. Like it's like because I thought all along Thundercracker had a plan, and that's why the arc disappeared. He like
Yeah.
talked to Skywarp, and they teleported out of there, and now it just feels like what just happened to us. And so he's like, in that moment, he's lurking in the shadows, and then all of a sudden, he like jumps out and kind of like
Yeah.
in a panic, like what just happened to us? Where were we? And it like that part didn't quite
It's like a
jive,
disconnect
I
of
guess.
time
Like
almost.
yeah, a little bit.
You
Again,
think
not,
they're gonna retcon? You think Kirkman's gonna retcon that thing? Like it's gonna be a random teleportation?
I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I think if I were to honestly, if I were to guess, I would guess that the arc transporting before was a Kirkman idea. It said, "Hey, can you like talking to Daniel Warren Johnson? Hey, can you have
Okay.
that teleport out of there?" Because he
Mhm.
probably had an idea. As like, I need to connect this somehow. That's my guess because it seemed kind of out of place when it happened, and like oh, that's why I was thinking, like, oh, the reason that happened is because Thundercracker was trying to rescue Skywarp, and he's like, let's just get this arc out of Autobots' hands. And that I thought like, oh, that's cool. Like Thundercracker has a plan. Like that's how he's going to help Skywarp. And to then just have it come back, I was like, huh, that's interesting. So again, it's just it's when you have expectations for something and then it's different than what you anticipated it being. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's just it takes some time in my brain to reset. Like, okay, that's maybe not what was going on, and I just need
Mhm.
to now process what actually is going on. And the way I look at it now is that I think it was Kirkman saying like let's get it out of here, and then we'll a way to kind of connect those worlds
Yeah.
in some way. So
I do also
because
really like. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's gonna because we know that there's the big idea of the Energon universe is to have this connected universe. So like that's how they're gonna get there. I think so. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah, and this issue does feel like it's kind of finally bringing Transformers into the Energon universe. I know it always has, and we've had GI Joe stuff pop up, but Void Rivals and from what I've read of GI Joe, what I've caught up on, feels a little more interconnected into this big world than Transformers had. Not that that was a bad thing, but I
yeah,
do feel like this issue's kind of maybe playing a little catch up of hey, we gotta connect some more of these things, which I enjoy. I like there being
yeah,
a larger
I'm
universe.
not a fan of that. I'm just gonna be an outlier here.
yeah,
I feel like this is like I said this in my video. I feel like this is kind of like a warning for me, and so I want to put this warning out for everyone else. You might as well just start reading the GI Joe stuff because it's I think we're gonna get more and more like world building with each other, and I mean it's not like a bad thing per se, but like I did kind of like how Transformers was its not like its own thing because like we had like Duke and we had all the General Flag stuff and all that
Mhm.
before, but I think it's gonna be ramped up with Kirkman writing this now for sure.
Mhm.
yeah. I think you're right. I think part of um maybe the not the agreement, but in talking with Daniel Warren Johnson, I think part of the deal was like, hey, you can tell your story. You don't have to worry so much about the connective nature of the Energon universe. We'll address that later. And I think this is Kirkman kind of, doing that now. Like just
Yeah.
kind of reorganizing some chess pieces to say like, okay, there are things that are connected. I don't think it's going to be overwhelming. I really don't. And I feel like if anything, it might connect to Void Rivals more because it seems like the Cobra Law side of um
It's very Void Rivals, yeah.
right, correct. The Cobra Law stuff is more
Mhm.
connected to right now. I mean, there are elements of in GI Joe because Cobra Law is kind of after Cobra Commander, but yeah, I just feel like, especially as Kirkman as the architect for Void Rivals, you might see those connections a little more. But he's not been hiding it that Void Rivals is a Transformers comic as well. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I think it's in everyone's to get the most out of the story. It's in everyone's interest to read those three titles in GI Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals, which I don't think is a huge ask as far as um, company crossover type stuff. With just have three comics a month is that's doable. I'm not going to speak for everyone. I just feel like it's not a huge ask, but I think for a while though, I think you could still read Transformers and not feel like you're completely missing out. I think they'll address things within in the pages of Transformers. So anyway, um, but yeah, so the last scene, this is gonna get people talking, because we go back to Cybertron. Finally, we get the follow up to Cliff Jumper's rebellious act of sending Shredhead through the portal instead of Cliff Jumper, as Alita 1 had wanted. So you get there back on Cybertron. Alita is, tearing into Cliff Jumper, calling him a traitor, and it's Alita telling her troops like why he's a traitor and why you should be angry at him. Like we're here stuck on Cybertron, Prime's on Earth. We had the opportunity to kind of sound or Shockwave's gone, Megatron's gone. We had the ability to kind of reclaim the planet, and Cliff Jumper ruined all of that. So yeah, she lays into Optimus Prime, and on this last page, it's I don't know about I like this direction, but it says Optimus Prime is no longer our ally, he is our enemy. And that's where the issue leaves us. So no longer Alita 1 just having a disagreement with Optimus Prime. She's flat out saying like, nope, he is against us. So yeah, what are you guys thinking about this?
Oh man, okay. So first of all, before I talk about the Alita stuff, I do want to tip my hat to Dan Mora, because I said this before. I'm not the art style is still taking a little bit for me to grow on. Like I'm still not a fan of it, but man, he knows how to draw a Cliff Jumper. Like I really like
Yeah.
that design of Cliff Jumper. That is top notch, dude. But I get what Alita's saying, but I do not agree with it. That's how I feel. Like I think this is like a huge overreaction. And like if anything, like if I'm like Alita and like the crew and all that, I would just like push to like rendezvous to Earth. Like there's like this is crazy. Like she is I don't know what's gonna happen, but I don't agree with the actions at all, which is sad.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll follow up in a
Is it?
minute. But, yeah,
I have a
Delta. go ahead.
question. Yeah,
Yeah.
is it that you don't agree with where the writers are taking her, or you just don't agree with her in the sense of the story?
Oh, that's actually a great question, because yeah, I don't want to bash the writing.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with the character. I
Okay,
think
all right.
this is a very that's a great question, actually, because
Yeah.
yeah, that made it
What
sound
you're
like I was
not
bashing the
saying,
writing.
you're not saying, "Oh, I hate what they're doing with her character." What you're
Right,
saying is,
right.
"Man, she's wrong," which I agree
Yeah,
with.
and I
Okay.
think this continues the trend of what Warren Johnson was doing with
Mhm.
Alita's character. So I really do like the writing with Alita, and I still
Yeah.
do, like, here in this moment, but I don't agree with the character anymore. I
Gotcha.
might have to be off the boat of defending Alita just from this action.
Gotcha. I wanted clarification because I was sitting here going, I don't know. For me, it was pretty clear that she's kind of going off the rails, and then I
Yeah.
realized, oh, they're not. You're not saying that the writing is wrong. You're saying is that the character is objectively incorrect, which I agree with.
Right, yep.
She's totally wrong, but it's written in a way that it's one of those characters where you're like, yes, I hate this person now. Yes, like
Yeah,
they've
she's a bad
obviously written
character,
her.
but,
Yes,
like,
yeah,
yeah, not a literally written bad. She's just
right.
it's really good written.
Yeah, she's an opposing force to Optimus, which I think one of you guys said this to me, or somebody said this. This is not my original idea. That I like this. I think this is a good continuation and expansion of Alita and what she's been through. But I feel like Kirkman needs to be really careful that he doesn't accidentally take Alita from being, hey, this person who's originally disgruntled with Optimus to now she probably really, really hates him for personal reasons. I hope he doesn't take her into the realm of, she's going to blow up Earth now. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. She can hate Optimus and not be, as horrible as Megatron in a way. Her beef is not with Earth or humanity. Maybe she resents it, but I feel like her issues need to stay focused on Optimus and her not just become this horrible villain type character. Just let her be upset at Optimus for what he's done.
I think she's gonna kind of like have the personality of like Astra Train in this story, where like Astra Train like what issue? I think it was issue 10 when he was like talking to Spike, and just kind of keeping it blunt. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
hey, your planet's
Yeah.
beautiful, and like it sucks that you guys like are inferior beings, but the
That's the
strong
way it is.
survive.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's how she's gonna be going forward, because I don't think she's gonna
Mhm.
be like outright like, "Raw, I'm gonna join Megatron," and
Yeah,
like,
absolutely not.
no.
Yeah.
Man,
Well, I
I hope
think
not.
that's a common thing, at least I see a lot when I talk to people about the comics is, "Oh, Thundercracker has left the Decepticons, he's gonna be an Autobot now." No, and in the same way, Alita being an enemy of Optimus doesn't mean she becomes a Decepticon. There's gradients and there's lines to these factions. It's not just, I don't like Optimus, therefore I'm a Decepticon now." It's no, I still believe Alita still believes in the Autobot cause. She just resents Optimus for what
Yep.
he has done and what he hasn't done. And that I think that's so much more interesting than a character just switching sides, because then you have, wow, look at all the Autobots. Actually, a lot of them don't like each other. They've got some issues, in the family. And I think that's just so much more interesting than a character just simply switching their faction logos. That way we can get, another toy of them, which
I
I mean,
think
I would
Blue
buy.
Streak is a little different here, at least with it, because I feel like the way Warren Johnson was writing Blue Streak, like Blue Streak would be like, yeah, let's throw Cliff in the let's throw him in the brig.
Hmm.
So I found it kind of interesting that he was kind of defending Cliffjumper here. At least that's the impression I got. Like,
Yeah.
because I
Wasn't.
can't remember the issue, but like he literally like he doesn't like make fun of Optimus, but like he says some type of comment about how
Yeah.
Optimus treats the Autobot. So like to me, I got the impression that okay, everyone on Alita's group does not like Optimus. So it to me it's kind of weird that Blue Streak here is like, hey, he was trying to help out Optimus, and I mean
Yeah.
he like look at his face when she's yelling at him too. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
stepped out of
it's like
line.
and that, I think that's part of like in the style of Jorge Corona because um, he was presented in multiple instances as kind of like this grizzled veteran. Like he just was like,
Yep.
so and here he kind of looks like a softer. He's got a soft
Yeah,
spot for
everyone looks a lot
Cliffjumper, which
younger with his new art
yeah,
style.
youthful. But he did, there were. I feel like there were when Blue Streak was first introduced in the series, he definitely had that like he was hardened by war. But Cliffjumper kind of, pretty quickly had like not a soothing effect, but like more like a softening of a Blue Streak a little bit. So he had those like a soft spot for Cliffjumper throughout. So it doesn't surprise me that he would be kind of sticking up for him here. But yeah, I mean he also has been right there with Alita. So I don't know. It's honestly what I first thought I was like, are they gonna because I feel like so Cybertron needs another if they're gonna continue the story on Cybertron, you need another like a Decepticon in there. So we did not see Shockwave in the pile, the body pile that
Mhm.
Starscream was in. So like, is Shockwave still on Cybertron? Is he in that pile somewhere
Mm,
back in the Nemesis? So my immediate thought and fear was like, oh no, are they gonna like bring back Shockwave? And then Alita she liked his plan. I mean, she liked the idea of
mm.
Energon getting flowing back to Cybertron via Earth. So she was kind of okay with that. I was like, are they gonna like do that? Are they gonna pick up that thread? And that's how Shockwave comes back and she aligns with him. I don't know.
No, I kind of
That's
hope not. That would be
that's there's nothing really in here that says or alludes to that happening, but that's where my mind went. I was like, God,
yeah.
man, I hope not, because I always liked how there was like the moral ambiguity that was left to the reader to interpret what was going on when Daniel Warren Johnson was writing it, because there was he was not as verbose, not as much dialogue in the issue. But I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. It's kind of like drawing the line in the sand, and I was like, is that too far? I don't know. But I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't love the path that Alita is going, because I understood her before. I totally understood where she was coming from. Didn't agree with her, but I understood that. This I don't quite understand. So I don't
She's
know,
grumpy.
but yeah, but
She's
like,
very grumpy.
but I like.
That's a bit far for being grumpy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like really livid. But yeah, overall, I think it's a great place for this issue to end. And again, so many things in this issue are just basically resetting the board, and there's so many story possibilities that are now in front of us. And I think it's in if the mission was to uh, set up for whatever is next, this issue did that wonderfully, because it's we don't know what's coming next. So yeah, I guess should we should we jump into the scoring now? Is there anything else you guys want to discuss? Was there anything else that we missed from the issue before we jump into the scoring, or anything else we want to revisit?
I mean, I have a big point disappointment with the issue, but I think that's going to factor into my scoring. But I also don't want you guys to be, sitting here waiting for
Could you,
10
sorry,
minutes.
wait, Delta, can you repeat that? I don't know if you cut out with
Yeah,
Swim,
you
but-
did. You
okay,
cut out.
so
No, I said I have one more point of contention
okay.
in the issue, but it will roll into my scoring. I think it affects my scoring in a
Okay,
decent
so
way.
okay.
Can
So
we
is anything else?
quickly talk about the art style?
Yeah.
You guys like it?
Um,
He's trying to get us canceled out here.
yeah, like, oh man. I will say this, and it's kind of what I said when we, in our chat before we were recording earlier today, when I said, to me, this art style feels like more of an art style for the masses. It
Mhm.
feels like it's very accessible. It's a clean look. I feel like it's easier to look at and enjoy for more people. I feel like it's not as stylized. There's a I don't want to say realism, but there is a little bit more of I don't know, like a more technical, clean approach to how he draws the Transformers. So I don't not like it. I think it's strong. I think he's a great artist. It's just it's very jarring for me because of having the art be so stylized before. I feel like it allowed both Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona to play with things a little more. You when things are stylized to the point where they're a little like kind of like an animated look, you can get away with a lot of things. Like in this issue, it kind of stood out more when, like there are some panels where Ultraman looked like really, really lanky. Like he looked, his arms are super long, but then later on he was proportioned differently. So, and that happened before. I mean, it's not like that doesn't happen with other artists. It's just when the art is a little looser, in the sense that it had that grittier tone, like the animation flow, stylized, you could just get away with a little bit more. Here it was just a little bit noticeable when proportions kind of changed around. So
Yeah.
it's just I love how he draws the humans. I love that. Technically, the art is beautiful. I mean, I think there's panels where it just looks super clean, amazing.
The detail is incredible.
Right, it's there. Right, so it's I don't want to take anything away from Dan Mora. I'm glad he's
Of
on this
course.
book. I think he's a good way to. I mean, we don't know how long Dan Mora is going to be on the title, but um, in answering the question, how do you follow up Jorge Corona? This is how you follow up Jorge Corona, and you give like he's not trying to mimic the style. It's his own thing. Dan Mora is going to bring more eyes in this title that maybe wouldn't have before. Also, Robert Kirkman being on the title, it's going to bring his specific fans into the Transformers, and that's what you want. You want more people reading this comic, and I feel like that's what this does effectively. Does that mean it takes a little bit more of an adjustment from us, who think about this comic probably way more than a lot of people do.
It's true.
So
It's
so,
very
like,
true.
it's just I feel like, and me personally, as someone who, collects original art, I've studied Jorge Corona's pages, like, so much, and it's just a different experience, looking at Dan Mora's art. So it's gonna take time for me to adjust, and that's why when I kinda I don't wanna come across as nitpicking or negative, or, it's gonna take time for me to kinda readjust to what I was accustomed to, what I was used to, and then what this is, and how, to properly then view it, like I talked about before, expectation versus reality, and that's what, it's gonna take some time for me to get used to it, so.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm just gonna. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think I've said this before, and I even said it a little bit ago, but like it'll grow on me. It's not like a deal breaker. I'm like, oh, the story sucks. No, because it's still a good story. I just I don't like I don't like some of the characters that how they're drawn, and like
Mhm,
I will
mhm.
say like Mirage and Bulkhead, they look great. Like Bulkhead looks fantastic as like a quote unquote original design. I think that's great. Wheeljack's decent. Um I'm gonna have to disagree with people because I know a lot of people say like, "Oh, Magnus looks the best." I'm not a fan of Magnus. I do not like how he
It's
looks.
not to step on you here, but I agree, and my 2 biggest, uh, like, character complaints are the characters that I love the most in Ultra Magnus and Beachcomber.
Yep.
I don't feel like they are, um, uh I don't know. I don't prefer it. And so I don't want to leave you hanging as like you're as like the only negative one. I have the same reaction to the art. I know it will take time, but like just from the we're recording this the day after it came out. So
Yeah.
there are my view of the Danny Warren Johnson Jorge Corona issues changed over time. So it's very jarring, of a change. But the one thing that I will say is that what I loved about Jorge Corona's style, more than any, was how emotive the art was. You just
Mhm.
understood what these characters were feeling, and you didn't have to hear what they were saying or read what they were saying. You knew, like you just felt it. You felt the weight of the moments, and that all came through in the art. Um, that's not necessarily the case here because it's a like a cleaner approach. So, while it does feel very G1, like, in the tone, I much preferred the the art style before, and I don't know, like I know, like I said before, Mora is gonna bring in, his fans because like what he does, like his art at DC, like his Superman, Batman stuff, uh, it's super popular because it is super clean and because it harkens back to it's like a modern, Silver Age, feel, which is like 70s, comics where like the heroes were like the brighter colors, the cleaner, not as gritty. So it kind of has that modern take on that era. It's just I don't know that works as much for me so far, here in Transformers. So,
Yeah,
um,
they're just all too lanky. I'm just looking back and I'm just they are all like Prime. I have a problem with Prime because he looks too lanky. Like I really liked how beefy he looked from Corona, and I think the worst. And like I just want to say this too. Like I really am not hating on Dan Moore. Because I like I said I like how Cliffjumper looks. I like how Wheeljack looks. Like there's some solid stuff here, and it'll definitely grow on me. But like I
mhm,
think one of the ones I dislike the most is RC. Like
yeah.
I and this is where like you guys can drag me on this. For some reason, I do not like Jazz's visor. I don't know what it is. It does. I can't explain it. Like Jazz looks so weird to me in this art style, especially like in like when they're in the arc and that close up. Like I don't know what it is. Like his head's like too round. I don't know.
it's throwing me off, and the visor's like very smooth and kind of
Yeah.
flat. Just I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know,
nah,
man.
hey, what I've come to like with art, it's you like it or you don't,
Yeah.
and you don't have to. I know that we're gonna try to explain ourselves because we don't want to come across as that we're
Yeah,
just
because
like
I
hating on it.
really am not hating on Dan
Right, right,
Mora.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why I know that that's not where you're coming from. It's just it's a period of adjustment, and I think like
Yep.
there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be going through the same thing, and there's going to be people that are just going to come out and say like, oh, we've seen the comments. It's like, oh, finally, like a good art style. Like I read that and I'm like, what have you been reading? Like, so like I know that might put me on an island, but like I don't know. Like I have what has made this comic stand out to me was the uniqueness of the art. And this to me does feel like something that's a little safer. It feels like it's going to appeal to the masses. And that's, long term, that's what we as fans of the series want. Like we want people reading this comic. We want this comic selling. And so yeah, because that's just going to continue to bring on big name artists, and it's good for the long term health of the Energon universe if people are reading it. So yeah, if that gets us there, then 100% on board. And like you said, the art is totally going to grow in me. I know it will. It's just where we stand, today. I'm still like I don't know, not necessarily sold. So you're not alone, and we're not alone. I'm sure there's many people who feel the same way, and there's people who feel that we are idiots and that the
Yep.
art is amazing. So that's the beauty about why we have these discussions, because we're all fans of the comic. So it's not like we're saying, "Oh, I'm not reading this comic anymore. I'm walking away from it because the art changed." Like, no, I'm invested. Like, I love these stories, and I'm going to continue to love the stories. So, yeah, I don't know. So I wouldn't feel too bad about having an opinion. That's what we want here.
Exactly.
So Delta, I went on for so long. I forget. I'll get off my soapbox here. Did you have any other comments about the art? I don't know if I stepped on you there, but
No, I don't have anything to add that's any different from what either of you guys said. There's sections where I'm like, ooh, I don't like that, and there's other sections where I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I think again for me, it's I'm right down the middle, and I'm anticipating having more of a formed opinion once we're a few more issues in. But I am
yeah,
definitely I'm on the fence. It's not something that I'm gonna stop reading over. I know it's not for any of us, but for me, it's like, okay, we'll see where it goes from here.
yeah. So while you're, do you want to just move into? Do you want to go first in the scoring? Would you feel
Sure.
comfortable with that, or okay?
Yeah.
Let's yeah. Then you
Yeah.
kind of continue your thoughts in that way.
Yeah. I like this episode issue.
Yeah, see, feels like an
I like
episode.
this. I like this episode of Teletraan Tapes, which you can watch on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify for free. Um, um, I liked this issue. I did a quick write up on my YouTube channel, a post. Again, I think my biggest issues, or again, we talked about it. Some of the dialogue, some of it is, as I would say, wordy in some areas, which I think works in other areas, like with Cliff Jumper and Jazz. It's like, okay, all right. The art style is a jarring change. I don't think that so much really is going to affect my scoring too much. However, and this is a huge caveat because I've talked about this before in episodes in the past, that I understand that not every character in this story is going to be in every issue. I completely understand that. It does not bother me, if hey, Jetfire's not in this issue, or the aerial bots aren't here. It does not
Mhm.
bug me because I understand there's a lot of characters to juggle. We're going to get to them. I have faith that they've not been forgotten. That still rings true. However, the reason that this issue is going to take a hit in its score for me is because the lack of Carly and Spike. And again, I know they're not forgotten. I'm pretty sure one of the covers for 26 or 27, I think, has Carly. I understand that. just in the same way with Shredhead. He's mentioned he's not seen here. However, all that being said, even though I understand they're still there and we're going to get to them, it was a big disappointment for me to not see at least even Spike and Optimus in these scenes. For me, it was just it's the same type of moment I had that you had, Carl, with Ultra Magnus and Flag. We were like, wait a second, what those two? Carly, I can understand. Hey, she's kind of with Shredhead and Cliffjumper story. That's totally fine. It's okay if she's elsewhere. And again, I know they're still there. It's just for such an impactful moment to bring us into this new age of the comic with Optimus and the destruction and all this, to not have Spike there, really bummed me out. And I like the little girl that Optimus has the talk with. I think that's a good surrogate for Spike. But
can I make one observation? I don't mean to, again, I need to shut up, but like it's possible that Kirkman has talked about how much he's loved this series just as a fan of Transformers, as a fan of Danny Warren Johnson and what he's done. It's possible that in tackling beginning to tackle his story arc, he's like, look, I'm not ready to do like have any kind of big Spike and Optimus interaction. Like he might be like, that's not sacred, but it's just those moments really hit when they have their heart to hearts, and when and they still have a lot to talk about because of the all the things that happen with Sparky, and maybe he's just not ready to kind of dive into the heaviness of that conversation yet. But we do know it's coming. But like I absolutely, I hear what you're saying though as well. So it's just one thing I thought as you were talking, like maybe it's just like maybe it's him, like a trepidation and waiting to have those put those words on the paper.
Yeah. Do you think?
Sorry.
But do you think he forgot about Carnivac? Do you think Carnivac's coming back? I'm joking. Anyways, I know I'm supposed to score. I like the issue, even though I had some issues with it. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Again, 7 is still a high number. I'm guilty of. Well, I don't need to get into that. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. I enjoy it. I'm more interested to see where things are going to go, though.
So, you want to go next, or do you want me to?
Yeah. What's funny is I actually thought I was gonna have the lowest score. Yeah, 7 out of 10 for me as well.
Okay.
And I'll say this real quick. This is not me explaining or giving reason as to why I gave it a 7. This is just something I thought of. Somebody, and I won't say who. I think I sent this to you guys. Somebody mentioned to me, they were like, "Yeah, this issue was pretty good. It was all right. 8.5 out of 10." I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Wait a second." And I think just in general, yeah, and this is a me thing. In general, the rating scale is always off for me. I think of a 5 as being the worst thing ever, and then I have to remind myself, a 5 out of 10 is like, yeah, it's all right. It's got good and bad. It's equal. So a 7 is still like, yeah, it's still mostly good. It's just a few things dragging it down.
I look at it as like a letter grade. So like,
yeah.
I give this like a C.
Yeah.
Like a C plus. There was a lot of stuff I liked, but I just think I'm gonna have to get used to some stuff, and yeah, definitely some Morty stuff at the beginning. But I guess I just gotta read more. Unlucky.
So, Swizz, I don't know if this has ever happened for you before, but you are, because you've mentioned it in the past as far as like being like on the outskirts, like we 3 of us think one thing, you think the other thing, but today, my friend, 777s, because
we got to get Moon on the phone. We got to call up Moon and be like, "Hey, we know you're sick, but
I know, like, come on, man." No, yeah. So, and for similar reasons, one, I don't want to believe that this is the best that this creative team can do. So I can't say that while there's nothing in this comic that I just was like, I really don't like that outside of the choices that some of the characters are making, but I understand why they would write them that way. Like the Alita thing, I understand why she's going down that path. I don't agree with it, but yeah. So it's it's just a gut feeling. Like I just don't feel like, as we sit here today, that this comic provided the emotions that we're used to. I didn't necessarily, outside of, you know, I didn't feel like the stakes of things, and part of it is because like the stakes are low right now because for the Autobots they've got the arc back. There's this stash of Energon. There's Bulkhead Mirage. Like things are looking up. Obviously we know that there's uh, some shadowy figures that are kind of trying to play the Autobots, but I don't know. It's hard to fully explain, um, but the main reason it's a 7 is because I want to believe that this can get better, and that doesn't mean this is bad. It just means that what we are used to and what we've been given, the bar was set super freaking high. So it's hard. And once we get this first arc, the Kirkman's first arc under our belt, I may look back and have a completely different, like, oh, he was setting it up there, because Kirkman does that. He plays the long game better than almost anyone in comics. So there are some things that are maybe in this issue that lead to things that we're not anticipating, we're not expecting, and then we might look back and go like, you know what, that it was all there from the beginning. That's friggin' amazing. This is now like a 9, whatever. And it could be because we've talked about scores change over time, and but yeah, that's where I'm at, and I'm sure people are gonna be like, "Oh, these guys hate it," and I feel like
Washed.
I feel like we've done a good job at trying to convey why we have the opinions that we have, and
Yeah.
um, I would encourage anyone listening to this that we want feedback. We want to hear what others think about this. Tell us that if this was, because it had like a tonal shift, it feels a little closer to the cartoon. Maybe that's speaking to people way more than some of the grittier, darker tone of some of the things that happened before. Maybe that's, I don't know, like that. I want to hear that. I want to hear what people are thinking about this comic, and in a respectful way. I mean, I try to be respectful. I hate being negative. I don't want to come across as someone who doesn't enjoy this. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about this comic book if I didn't love the property and the 24 issues that have come beforehand. The GI Joe stuff, the Void Rival stuff. Like, I'm on board. I'm on Team Energon, and I'm looking forward to where this goes. So, not a hater, totally a fan. Just I want to see. I want to leave
better.
room for improvement. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to talking to our boy Moon, because Moon, you are missed. I do hope you're feeling better. But yeah, could we have had 4 7s? I don't know.
Or he did just confirm in the chat that he would have given it a 7. He just confirmed.
Oh, he did. Oh,
4 7s.
4 7s. Wow.
We did it. We can end the podcast. We agree, finally.
That's amazing. That's a first. See, Robert Kirkman bringing us all together.
He's uniting us.
He's the savior of Transformers. Yeah, he's a genius. So thank you, Robert
done
Kirkman.
It again.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that I think we've said it all. I started the show thinking like, oh, we'll maybe try to get through things a little faster, but nope,
Never.
Still a lot to say about this issue. So
wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
I think this style worked. It's just this was a larger issue than usual. So
yeah. So
I do like this style more.
Also, I do want to ask for feedback. Guys, in the past, we've tried to do every single scene, every single story beat. What do you guys prefer? If it's not to, we're here, we're going to have these conversations anyway. So we want to provide, the discussions that you want to get out of it. So just let us know. Let us know what you think. So it's not like it was short-winded. We're still long-winded, but there was a lot to unpack here. And maybe I was foolish to think that we could get through a little faster, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so guys, any closing thoughts, or have we said what needed to be said?
I think we're good.
I think we touched on all. I would encourage everybody, if you have the comic, to read the letters section where Robert Kirkman talks. He said that all the death and characters disappearing that he's done in Walking Dead and Invincible, it's all because of the original Transformers movie. So if you thought the comic had a lot of deaths, Sorry, we're probably just getting into.
Yeah,
We're probably just
buckle
getting
up.
started.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
get
it's
ready.
not like Kirkman has been known to be gentle on characters that he is,
No.
you know. Yeah, so that's still going to be a hallmark of the series, I'm sure. So, um, anyway, thank you everyone for joining us on this discussion of Transformers 25. Check out the links in the description to see what the rest of us are up to on our own channels. And until next time, let's get Moon back into working order. And I really want to hear his thoughts some more. So until next time, take care, everybody.